Hey everybody, it's a hot and humid Easter Sunday evening and it's week 5 of our garden project. We're here in the front yard, low overlooking our 30-acre field, and you'll notice that there is nothing in it. It's disked up nice and dressed off real good, but it's still too dry. It's too dry to plant peanuts. So we're waiting for some rain. We hope and pray we're going to get something soon so the commercial end of this can get planted and get underway. But where we can get water, we're doing real good. This is for the first time we're going to have some successful cantaloupes. We've tried in the past and not did too well, so we moved them to a different section of ground. This ground is not much good for anything else, but it looks like cantaloupes are going to do all right. They're 5 weeks in, coming along real well. You've noticed that yesterday I hilled them up and I made this little depression in there to try to trap some water. With the way this drought is, we're doing our best to keep them alive. Over here we've done an experiment with pumpkins. We've got pumpkins in the ground. Not a typical plant for this area, but we're going to try it. We're going to see how it does. Those just popping on the ground there, only a week old. In comparison, here's everybody's favorite zucchini. The zucchini 1 week old, coming out of the ground, doing real good. Can't have a garden without zucchini. We got a whole bunch of it. And here's our summer squash. At the 5 week stage here, it's doing pretty good. It's doing really good. See how far it stretches out. Now we've staggered the summer squash with some that was just planted a little over a week ago. We move on to the 5 weeks. And you can see the difference in size. Now the reason we've staggered the summer squash, of course, is so that we don't get a flood of summer squash all at once. We can spread it out over a month this way, whether for commercial sale or for use around here. It's a lot easier when you do that. We've done the same thing with the green beans. This is a Roma style green bean. You'll see the new crop here and the original planting here. You probably notice they need to be weeded. We've got this nut grass growing in there. Now the main concern with weeding these is always when you get in there and you pull out the weeds, the plants topple over. So we'll probably have to hill up around them when we're done to keep them standing upright. We're looking at probably, to just do these beans here, going to be 8 to 10 hours of weeding. So we're put that up as long as possible. You can see we've got 8 rows of them in staggered, 4 weeks apart. And here's my own favorite part, the peppers. This is a banana pepper, and you see they're flowering. And planted along in conjunction with them, we've got tomatoes. This is a bush type tomato. These are just cherry tomatoes. And we've got probably, there's a half a dozen different types of peppers in here. Everything from green bell to cayenne to jalapeno. All kinds of them. And they're doing real good. Here's the ones that have already been weeded. You can see I've hilled them up also. Put the hill around them to try to trap some moisture. The danger we have with hilling crops like this is that the ants will notice the hills and think it's new Section 8 housing for them and move in. But that's just the chance we have to take. We've been hitting it quite heavily with a combination of Spectracide and Ortho 7 around here, trying to knock down the fire ants because there are a lot of them this year. In fact, I don't know if you can catch it this late. But there they are. Look at the fire ants crawling all around, getting into my cucumbers. Cucumbers are starting off slow, but they're doing pretty good. You see, we've weeded them and hilled them up. We're only running 2 rows of those this year. A little under 100 feet, I guess. And most all of them have taken off. They're growing pretty good. On to another favorite plant of mine. These are a Jacob's cattle bean. Now we love the Jacob's cattle beans because they're so useful. This is an heirloom plant, meaning that what we don't eat, we can plant. I've got a lot of them in the ground. We've got them in the best section of ground we have because we want to make sure these succeed. You can use the Jacob's cattle bean, everything from Boston baked beans to a Mexican dish. You can store them. You can store the seeds in mason jars for years. They'd be good for years. In fact, some of these seeds, these right here you see growing, I believe the seeds were 2 years old, and they sprouted and took off just fine. What we did to help these plants out yesterday, a little commercial fertilizer application in the center of the row. We put it down here in the center. We didn't put it directly on the plants. We kind of broadcast a little bit of it throughout here, then rototilled it under, then hit it heavily. See the sprinklers we're using there. We use those, and we also just water it by hand directly using a shower head type attachment. And the onions that we didn't think were going to do very fine, they were the size of toothpicks once. They're doing perfect. Combination 10-10-10 and 34-0-0 and plenty of water means the onions are going along fantastic.